Now, we're going to move to the body. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to go into, I was only going to do the landing gear, but I'm actually going to go into the body portion of this as well. So some things you're going to want. We did the landing gear bag. We should have some pieces left over that I'm gonna leave right there. I'm gonna move into the body because some of this is a little bit easier to do without the landing gear on there. So I'm gonna dump this out. These are the standoffs, the 20mm standoffs, and the 6mm M3 bolts. And there. It's always a good idea to keep these in separate little piles, or only take out what you need. So I want to be able to read on point because I love on point. So I'm going to flip it over like that. That will be the inside of my body. So I'm going to just start, because I know where they go. This will help you to know also. So one goes there, and I kind of go around the perimeters. One goes there, and then one goes there. Something else that you should think about when you're building these is where you intend to put your battery. If you want your battery to be a top mount or a bottom mount, will impact how you build these. And here's where it will come into play. This line of holes and that line of holes could potentially get covered up by the landing gear. I think on the Longbow it doesn't, but on the Hawk I think it does. So on the Hawk you would probably want to go into it knowing that your battery is going to be on the top. On the Longbow I think it can go on the top or the bottom, but it is something that you want to take into consideration for a situation like this, where on the Hawk the landing gear potentially could cover up access to the center holes. I will cover that in our video that we do next. Alright, so next is going to be the last two. So you see I've done perimeter. Those two, those there, there, and there. Do one in the middle. And this is for the T. Or not the T, I'm sorry, the triangle. And then one goes in the back for the triangle. So I went ahead and added those. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to my landing gear and get ready to add this. And so those are going to go right here. Like that. And then you can kind of decide where you want it. I'm going to recess it to the back. And then I'm going to get my needle nose and this and get ready to do that part of it. I try to make these videos short, but sometimes there's just no way around it. There's a lot lot of information to cover. Okay, there's that one. Still at the back. Okay. Go ahead and crank them down pretty good. It is, after all, the base of your support system. Alright, and so now I'm going to get the other one ready. That one will go here. And then the nice thing is, now that you've done your landing gear, you have this really nice elevated work surface. Hey. Sometimes one-handed is a little challenging. That's all right. There's one, and there's another one. Why? Come on, stop falling. Okay. So I mentioned, on some of these, see how the row is right there where the landing gear is? So what you want to do is just make sure whenever, if you're going to have standoffs coming from the bottom, you want to make sure that you have clearance for that, is really all I wanted to point out as far as that goes. That's right. Did I get into the... That's it right there. So notice while I was just sitting here flipping it around, that one goes all the way that way, that one goes all the way that way. So just FYI. Alright, so I'm gonna get my nut and get ready to put this guy together. This guy. Ta-da. Okay, and so now you have your landing gear on, and you have a nice little elevated work surface too. So next, actually, since we're on a roll here, I'm going to go ahead and add my little triangle plates. One is going to go just like that, and one is going to go just like that. And so what I will do here, for the time being, is I will put some screws in there. Just to kind of hold it, save my place. Like that. Because you're actually going to wind up adding more to this. So all we really are wanting to do is have this plate where we want it for our next few steps. So what we have done, let's see, I'm actually going to let me get these last two in. That one goes there. This goes here. We may throw in some extras. If you find extra standoffs, you can add them. Mainly, what we have here is the structural integrity of it. So, now we have this. We're going to move right into the next piece. What you need is your rubber tubes and 30mm bolts. 30mm bolts and rubber tubes, because those are what you'll use next for the arms. So we'll get that going. So 30mm M3 should get at least 16. Same for the rubber tubes, you should get at least 16. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your bolt. The rubber bolt piece goes here. The bolt goes through like that. And you also are going to need your nylock nuts. And then you're just going to flip it over, do that. Same thing. Flip it over, add the nut. And all these are going to stay loose until you assemble, or until you add the arms. So we're just going to go through, all of this is just pre-planning, pre-building. You're going to do each arm just like this. And try not to drop anything. So I'm not going to sit here and do all of these for you and make you watch, but I did one. This is what it's going to look like with the rubber tubes and then the standoff there. And so the way that this works is you take your arm and it just slides right up in there, just like that. And seats right up against that standoff right there. And that's how the arm goes in. And then what you'll wind up doing is using the 2.5mm Allen and your needle nose, is you will go through and crank each one of these down. And it winds up being a compression fitting. The rubber tube bulges a little bit, creating a secure attachment, and then it sandwiches it down at the same time. so it makes it easy for the arm to go in. So I'm going to go through and do each one of these, and then the next video I do will be about the ESCs, because we're basically putting out 2 versions. But that'll be for the next video. If you have any questions, comment below, or shoot us an email. Thank you.